All right, well, good evening. Thank you for joining me. I'm First Alert meteorologist Jake Lambright. Of course, tracking some of those storms that will be rolling through central Louisiana. Some have already moved into our area. So I want to zoom in here first, specifically on this Vernon Parish storm. Of course, a new severe thunderstorm warning just came out a few moments ago. You may have got that notice there on your phone. Still watching a storm moving through northern portions of Vernon Parish right now. Let me move this over and I'll pull up some of that warning info for you. That new warning goes through 6:15, really watching winds up to 60 miles per hour and even the potential for a brief spin-up tornado. Sorry about that. Got an alert update there, so wanted to make sure I got the latest on that. Nothing changing though within our borders of central Louisiana for now. But again, watching the storm here, you see across northern Vernon Parish, just will be moving close to the Fort Polk radar here over the next couple of minutes. Want to look in here at the velocity, show what direction that the winds are blowing with the storm. Not seeing anything crazy in the way of organized rotation, but the storm has shown some weak and broad rotation, then next to nothing that kind of picks back up. So going to be watching that closely. Its structure definitely, as we go back a while there, as this was kind of crossing the Toledo Bend there, Sabine Parish had a really interesting structure to it. That was about 440. So this is past radar data that I'm showing there. Not as defined, so liking that it doesn't look as ominous as it did just about an hour ago. Now, when I zoom things out, kind of recenter things here so you can see the bigger picture, that's not the only storm out there that we've got. We've got additional storms starting to move into portions of central Louisiana. You'll notice one here, northern portions of Natchitoches and Wynn Parish. Wind gust up to 40 miles per hour will be possible. Going to be watching that storm through about 6 p.m. this evening. So again, that's going to be tracking off to the east and southeast. The next one here, you'll notice a white box there, northern Sabine Parish, basically cuts off right at Manny. We could also see wind gust up to 40 miles per hour, maybe some small subsevere hail with this storm as well. Well, I'll have to watch out with any of these storms for them to potentially intensify, but our window for severe weather today is fairly limited. Once we get past about 7 to 8 p.m., the severe threat is going to diminish very, very rapidly. So do want to make that clear. In the meantime, though, of course, we'll have to watch and stay weather aware here for the next little while. I do have our chat pulled up here. So if you're watching, you can watch this live right now on our smart TV apps for free. We're not on NBC, but we're on the smart TV. If you have any questions, you can ask those through our Facebook or YouTube chat. I see Joni's joining from Martin Park. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. Of course, nothing too crazy going on for now, just that one little severe storm, not impacting a very large portion of central Louisiana, but wanted to hop on here for a few minutes and kind of provide an update on what's going on here across the area. I see Carol is asking how bad for Woodworth. Hard to say for any said specific town. The threat is there for a strong storm or two. Not everybody's going to see severe weather or even rain for that matter out of these storms. So keeping a close eye on Rapides Parish. Of course, if this storm were to maintain its strength and kind of its track, may barely miss y'all in Woodworth, but of course we've got more storms behind it, so no guarantee there. Going to be watching things pretty closely here over the next 2 to 3 hours. Got additional strong to severe storm activity just to our south. Again, these won't impact us though, the severe storms. Those will be moving more toward the Lake Charles area at southwestern Louisiana. Not super concerned about those for us in central Louisiana at this time. So again, here's kind of a look at the radar right now. Just one severe storm so far. Another storm that's severe right across the state line out in portions of, I believe that's Sabine County, maybe Shelby County out in eastern Texas. Let me go ahead and pull some of the info. Sabine and St. Augustine County in eastern Texas. Again, that storm kind of on the stronger side, currently has a severe thunderstorm warning on it. Definitely seeing those gusty winds. It's what those bright greens were indicating. So if that continues to maintain its strength, that comes across the state line and impacts portions of Sabine and Vernon Parish a little bit later on this evening. For now, though, just the two strong storms, the one here in northern portions of Wynn Parish and Natchitoches Parish, kind of near Goldana and Dodson. That'll be moving into Sykes and Winfield here in a little while. And then the second one just to the northwest of Manny, kind of out towards Wally, just south of Converse and Pleasant Hill. So I do see some good questions there. I will get to some of those here in just a second. I want to pull some additional info on these storms. So right now they're kind of moving to the east, kind of southeast at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. So we'll put a track on these. I see one of the questions that I have here is the ETA for Gardner. So I'll put a track on these storms here in just a moment, kind of answer that in a little more detail here shortly. So again, this is kind of the line, not so much that storm there in Vernon. So these are, again, kind of moving off about, kind of split the difference here on some of these storms. So let me make it full screen for you. Again, these are a broken line of storms. So not everybody along that line that I just drew out will end up seeing storms or seeing rain this evening. But there's kind of an ETA. So for you and Gardner, Russell was asking that question just a moment ago. Probably looking at about 50 minutes to an hour, given that these continue moving at the same speed. All right, I see some more questions here, so I'll answer some of those. I see Melina is asking about anything coming for Avoyelles. The threat for severe weather's there. It's lower, though. Y'all are going to see that rain potentially once the severe threat starts to wind down. So the chances there for some damaging winds, maybe a brief spin-up tornado, but lower for you out in Avoyelles. Taking a look at some things here. Maggie asking about Kankton, Louisiana. That there is in St. Landry Parish. Again, the threat for y'all is also lower, not zero, but at that point, the severe threat should be winding down, and hopefully y'all can avoid some of those stronger storms. Pollock, I've got the ETA for storms looking like about 50 minutes or so. Again, provided that they stay on their same track. The threat is there for some damaging winds, maybe some hail, as well as an isolated tornado. So going to be watching pretty closely for that. I see Steven's asking about Vernon. We'll go ahead and zoom into Vernon Parish again. We've got that one active severe thunderstorm warning already, and that's not all whenever it comes to storm activity for today. So right now, that severe storm is located near Simpson. It's going to be moving near Slagle and Hicks, crossing Louisiana Highway 28, and eventually close to the Fort Polk radar. So this will move through portions of base. Maybe not everybody on base sees rain from this initial storm. The southernmost extent, this warning basically goes out to Fullerton and Louisiana Highway 463, and impacts LeCamp, Hicks, and again, the Fort Polk base. So that's what we've got going on right now in Vernon Parish. And then we've got storms here to the northwest that are strong to severe. Those could also bring some damaging winds, maybe even try to spin up a brief isolated tornado. See, John's asking about a tornado watch. Let me actually pull that tornado watch up. I need to post it out to social media. For some reason, it did not do that earlier. I just found that out. So yes, Evangeline, you are included in that tornado watch. That will be running through 10 p.m. this evening. Would not be surprised, though, with the severe threat wrapping up, those storms probably out of here by 10 p.m., that we start to see parishes being dropped from that watch a little bit earlier. See Bailey asking about Pineville. Of course, hard to say how bad it will specifically be in Pineville. The threat is there for gusty winds and hail, as well as a brief spin-up tornado. So going to be watching that. But again, things start to wrap up Pineville area, Alexandria at the latest, probably 8 o'clock tonight, given the current track of things, 8 to 9 p.m. this evening. Montgomery, kind of the same thing. Hard to pinpoint exactly what you're going to see until storms get a little bit closer, but the threats will be there. Next question I have here is from Sharon, asking about the ETA for Natchitoches Parish. Right now, you've already got some storms that are moving across northern parts of the parish. Y'all are going to see the storms first and kind of see that threat wrap up a little bit, or see that threat wrap up the earliest out of most of those in central Louisiana. So as we go, kind of take a look here. Near Galdana right now, right on that Natchitoches wind parish line, we've got a stronger storm there right now, some heavy rain, maybe gusty winds up to 40 miles per hour. That, though, is about to push out of Natchitoches Parish. Then we've got storms in portions of Sabine, DeSoto kind of moving into Red River Parish that you see here. So that will be what Natchitoches Parish ends up kind of dealing with next. And then beyond that, things will start to subside. That front's going to move through, rain's going to be done, and things will be nice for the rest of the evening. See, next question here is Dry Prong. I'm going to pull up the ETAs here once again on some of these storms. Again, it's kind of a broken line. Not everybody here is going to be seeing the storms around the same time. So that 3 minutes for Natchitoches, you're not going to see rain in 3 minutes. That rain's a little bit further to the north and west. Natchez, though, I'm not going to count any Natchitoches Parish ETA. We'll scratch those off the list, so not going to track out Natchez either. Alla, though, roughly 30 minutes or so. We do have some scattered storms there to your northwest right now. Not severe at this time, but they'll produce some heavy rain as well as some gusty winds. Leesville, right now you're not dealing with much, but that second batch of rain probably moving through here in the next 45 minutes or so, and Fort Polk being impacted by the second wave of storms in roughly an hour from now. So Cheryl's asking about dry prong. That's what I have here on the screen. Your ETA looking probably about 40 to 50 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer than that. Hard to say exactly what you will see at your specific location, but the threat is there. Again, all modes of severe weather are on the table. The window, though, very, very slim. So storms continue moving to the east and time goes on. That severe threat will be a little bit lower. Kind of to follow up here with Caitlin's question, kind of the same thing. Again, can't really pinpoint if you're going to see a tornado at your or in your town or in your neighborhood per se, but again, that threat is there. Very similar for Vernon. Again, just kind of breaking down a moment ago, round 2 or wave 2 of storms coming into Vernon. Expect those to arrive in about 40 to 50 minutes or so. Right now, we've got one stronger storm out there kind of near the community of Schlegel. It does have a severe thunderstorm warning on it at this point. Zoom back into that here. So y'all can see this will impact portions of base on Fort Polk. Not everybody at Fort Polk, though. Again, very isolated, strong, or severe storm, I should say, moving kind of out towards Hicks and LeCamp. Again, parts of base. The southernmost extent of that warning basically cuts off there at Fullerton. So again, kind of to reiterate here, I can't say for sure if we're going to see severe storms or high winds, for example, in a specific location. But here across central Louisiana, the threat is there. Some of us will see strong winds. Some of us will potentially see a brief spin-up tornado tonight. The threat is there. We're watching things on radar closely, and trust me, we're keep monitoring things and giving you the earliest notice that we possibly can when it comes to help keeping you prepared. All right, so I'm going to give it another minute here for any last-minute questions. Again, I'd ask if y'all could refrain from any kind of location-based questions at this time, unless it relates to the storms on the radar right now. As in, if you're kind of near the Manny area, you're wondering what's coming your way, of course, I can answer those questions a little more in depth. But as far as what could be to come in 30 minutes to an hour, that's where things do get a little trickier. Brenda, right now there's nothing in there in Rapides Parish, so I'm not sure about that power outage in LeCount, likely due to some kind of failure, maybe a transformer blew or something of that nature, but that is not weather related. That power outage currently there right now. It's like we might be seeing an update to that severe thunderstorm warning just across the state line, so wait on that to come in here shortly. And then we'll go from there. So it looks like they're going to expire that. They believe that the storm has fallen below severe limits. I've not sampled any of the winds here, but that's good news. So there we go. So it's expired. It's off the map. So that storm still going to produce some heavy rain, still going to produce some lightning. Let me highlight the area I'm talking about. This right here as it moves into southern Sabine Parish and portions of Vernon Parish. But again, at least for now, that storm no longer at severe limits. I'll check our chat with the National Weather Service, see if they have any specific updates on that storm. It looks like so far, no. So again, that severe thunderstorm warning in Texas, right across the state line from us, was allowed to expire. But of course, we'll keep watching these storms as they continue moving off kind of to the east. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off, continue finishing up for our 6 o'clock newscast. Again, just to kind of recap real quick, we've got 2 strong storms out there, one of them moving through Sabine Parish. This will impact Manny here shortly. Potentially that heavy rain as well as some of that thunder there out toward Florine. Then we've got another strong storm there just moving out of Galdana, kind of moving through Dodson as well. That'll be moving into Sykes and Winfield here as we go through the next probably 20 minutes or so. So it looks like to follow up on that severe thunderstorm warning, they've gone ahead and put out a special weather statement. We'll take a look at that. Winds gust up to 40 miles per hour. Watching it for possible intensification. Definitely still expect heavy rain. Even if the storms over your location are moving your way or not severe, I would expect heavy rain. I would expect lightning as well. They may be loud and noisy, just not quite to severe limits. And trust me, I know that those storms below severe limits can be scary. Sometimes I forget. I'm usually inside. I'm not in a place where I can see windows, but rode out that sub-severe storm at my apartment here last weekend, we had wind gusts to 40 miles per hour. And those trees, those leaves were blowing, the rain was blowing sideways, so it can definitely be scary, even if it's not at severe limits. But of course, we're going to keep watching that closely. The only severe storm we have, again, is in Vernon Parish, kind of moving pretty close to Louisiana Highway 28. That'll be coming into Slagle, Hicks, and eventually LeCamp soon, as well as the community of Simpson. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hop off for now. I guess quick, one last question. Darlene's asking about Jonesville. Y'all's severe threat, a lot lower this evening. The chance not zero, but y'all are under that level 1 marginal risk, and that severe threat will, once it kind of passes through the Alexandria area, will rapidly start to decrease as we go throughout the rest of the night tonight. All right, I'm going to finish preparing for our 6 p.m. newscast. I'll leave the radar here looping on the screen for just a moment, and again, I'll have another weather update for you. You can watch it on your smart TV tonight at 6 with our newscast, or you can catch us on the air on NBC. Thank you so much for joining me, and again, I'll see you on the air coming up here in just a few minutes.